It's not a car. It's not a truck. It's not just another 4x4. It's a Hummer. A vehicle that defies comparison or categorization. A vehicle not in a class, but a universe all its own. A wolf in a field of sheep. A wolf in wolf's clothing.
Now you're wondering, why am I so happy, right? Well, let me tell you why. Because of this.
My name's Scott McElhenney. Work at Meyer Truck Equipment in Evansville, Indiana. I was the lead builder on the Humvee on hydraulics for Quake LED. When they first told me, first heard of they're wanting to put a Humvee, military Humvee on hydraulics, my first thought was, do you know how heavy one of those is? Because they're really heavy.
The first thing that I ever heard about the Hummer, Kelly had this crazy wild idea. He had mentioned that he was looking at a bunch of Humvees at auction. And then one day he was like, I found one, it's ours, I gotta go to California and pick it up.
Did you say the brakes are good or bad?
We'll find out.
Look how little Scott looks at it. Look how little he looks at that thing.
No, take off the wrong way or something.
What do you think of it though?
I don't know. I think it sucks. Can't wait to see when it's done.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It's terrible.
I can't believe the U.S. military even uses these.
Matt and Kelly were friends and had been friends for quite a while, and he came up to me and he was like, hey, would you be interested in a SEMA build? And I didn't even really have to hear at that point the rest of it. I'm just like, yes.
Military Hummer on hydraulics was one of the first freak show build ideas I had. And when I took it to the rest of the guys, they liked it. And then I was like, we got to take it to somebody that's going to believe in it and get it. And right away I thought of Matt Cartwright at Meyer Trucking. I called him up and was like, hey, what do you think of this? And he's like, oh man, that sounds sick, I'm all about it. And then we rabbit holed for like an hour. And then he came back and he was like, yeah, I think I could sell Andy on it, we could do it. And then we rabbit holed, and then we eventually just were like, okay, let's make it happen.
One day, we're gonna be like, hey, let's bring some cool shit, right? But instead of bringing cool shit, Kelly decided, no, let's just bring some not cool shit. Everybody else was bringing overland tents and freaking, yeah, let's throw some 37-inch mud tires and throw a overland rack and tent and blah bitty blah.
So a few days went by and I got a call from Matt and he's like, dude, let's call it identity crisis. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant, that's beautiful.
I've used the word unconventional a couple of times when I've explained it to a few people. In secrecy, of course, but it's very unconventional, which makes it a lot of fun.
It was last year whenever Scott was working on it the first year, and I saw it show up in the trailer. I was blown away. I thought it was really odd that, you know, because we work on service trucks and whatnot, and I just see this green and black Humvee. I asked Scott, well, you know, what's that doing here?
Before year one at SEMA, I had it. It was at my shop. I mean, I worked on it at first. I worked on it a little bit every night. And so once the parts started rolling in, then it turned into a lot more. And then we got the hydraulics, all that was working.
So early on, I was like I gotta find a hydraulic sponsor. Like, what am I gonna do? And I talked to a bunch of different people, and I really liked what Hoppos was doing. And I reached out to Art and left him a bunch of messages, and I got nothing. And then I finally got his email, and I sent him an email, and he just responded with like, okay, cool. Where do I send this stuff? And I kept thinking to myself, like, man, he's probably thinking, like, what are these gringo rednecks up to?
So far, the best memory was that I watched Scott get the rear hydraulics working, and everything that bounced started to fall off the Humvee. All the loose parts were falling on the floor. a lot of fun. The air cleaner cap came off and might have dropped a pump.
Shout out to Papos, your leading hydraulic supplier.
And they were just working tirelessly. I mean, they have their full-time jobs where they're building all day, and then they were working on the Humvee on the side.
Yeah, when it came to the SEMA deadline, it was crazy. They just had to put in crazy long hours. They were just working 24 hours straight, and they were like sleeping in their cars. And I'd get calls from Matt. I'd be just about to go to bed after working with China all night, and they'd be like, "Hey, we just got it done sprayed," and I'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" And like up at like 5 in the morning, like, "Did you get in early?" And they're like, "No, we just woke up. I was just sleeping in the car." Crazy.
What they find in ancient caves?
Get an iPad, dude. Get an iPad.
How nervous are you?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
How nervous are you, Scott?
It'll be fine.
Really, the most transformative thing on the appearance-wise on the Hummer so far. It is officially 3:30 in the morning, Central Time.
I was really impressed with the Meyer guys. Like Scott, his talent.
Have you seen dude's welds? They're better than Joel Smith's. Dude can do a donut, but Scott can weld a fucking bead.
Seeing Scott and Matt and the others hammer away at this thing for this, it looks stressful. I honestly, I didn't think they were gonna make it.
No one that I know of has Humvee on hydraulics before, so as we're kind of disassembling it, noticed that the rear end of it is independent rear suspension, independent suspension, just like the front, and it also already has spindles on it. So we're like, hey, here's an idea, let's make it rear steer. So I knew there was a PSC, does a lot of steering rams, so we got a hold of them, and I think they were pretty down with it.
Scott had approached me, asking me if I wanted to paint some panels that the hydraulic pumps themselves sit on. I stepped up to the task, and I believe I delivered on it.
I'm just amazed at the level of detail that's going into it, and the man hours that it's taking to complete it. Just making sure that everything is correct and done well, and looks looks really great too.
Andy pretty much said, hey, yes, I'm in, let's do it. And, I have free reign to kind of do it and get it done. And I mean, I think it's gonna be awesome for us as the shop too, so.
So Matt called me back and was like, yeah, Andy and everybody's into it. We're gonna do it. We've got Scott on board. He's gonna be our key builder. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, how did you get Andy in on it?
So then we had Klein air horns to do the train horns for the back of it.
I'm the official horn tester. That's why I get paid the big bucks. So loud. It's so loud. Love it.
We had a little accident with those the first time around. My creeper chair was sitting underneath the back of the Humvee whenever I dropped it down one time, and literally broke all of the horns off of it. So we had to go through those guys and get replacements and try that again. So then, we were doing the car audio, and Rob from DS18 really came through, sent us, I think we've got like a whole lot of speakers, a whole lot of speakers in a big box with a whole lot of power, and had several compliments today about how it sounded. Originally, at first, we thought we were going to use the stock wheels, and then we decided not to, and we got hooked up with Detroit Steel Wheels, Emma from Detroit Steel Wheels.
We want to thank Detroit Steel Wheels for the D-Town smoothies. They're 8-lug, 20-inch.
I really like the Hercules TerraTrack tires and how they ended up looking on those Detroit Steel Wheels. It's super sick. It's super good how they lay out. I love it.
I'm quite impressed with Quake LED. All of their product is, of course, fine quality, and it really truly is the closest thing to an actual plug and play that you can get when it comes to electronics.
But we did have, Midwest Military Equipment. They did awesome with giving us the top and the back partition and some other parts that were actually built for the Humvee that helped us a lot, obviously.
I think it's been a neat collaboration of everybody. And you know, we definitely couldn't have done it without the support of other vendors helping, you know, putting their product out there and seeing what the final product's going to look like. This is something completely new for Meyer Truck. We've not had the opportunity to do this before. You know, we saw it from an idea to all the way through a build to seeing it at the show. It's just going to be really cool.
It's really cool how it started to turn out. Like it just, you know, those guys were just kind of creating as they were going, and it would just, you know, with the bed and then blacking it out and just the whole thing, and just started to really take form and become its own beast.
You don't get an opportunity to do a SEMA build. You know, it's like, so if you get a chance like that, you're going to take it. And it was a lot of work, a lot of hours. You know, in the end, it was definitely all worth it.
There's a lot coming into the last few days on the build. It'll get done, it'll be show worthy, and it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be an incredible experience.
And then like the final push, whenever we bedlined it, finished it up and did some of the painting on it and all that kind of stuff.
But what, I mean, like I said, what sets this thing apart from all of it is just the stupidity of it all. I mean, it's so stupid, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I was really struck by was just the effect it had on other people. I mean, it was like Andy and Scott were celebrities. I mean, there's this one woman who just walked up with her camera up like she was, you know, meeting her, you know, favorite celebrity that apparently she doesn't know yet. But it's just, it turns heads more than probably any other vehicle we have, which is kind of insane for what the other vehicles are that we have.
The whole experience has just been amazing. It's been just a great experience overall.
It was a great experience to, you know, be actually able to follow through with the whole build and make it there and be on time and get in the Hummer, ride in it for the first time, and I see all the kids and everybody's grabbing all this attention because you hear all the ratchety clattering sound of that old diesel mixed with the hydraulics here. Like everybody's just like, what is this thing?
Just everyone turns their head.
When you find out that there's other people out there that are kind of like you and like just building weird stuff, and then meeting all the other guys that were doing the other builds, it was just been a super experience, a great experience from the beginning.
When I first saw it, I was just blown away. I was like, wow. It was, they took the idea that I had and made it so much better, and I was so excited about it. It just kind of blew my mind, and it looked so sick how it was murdered out, and it had those metal spikes in the front, and how those guys just thought through the top and everything. It was just really, really cool, and I just want to give a big shout out and thanks to Andy and Matt and Scott and Jeremy and the other Andy and the rest of the crew at Meyer Truck Equipment. That you guys just crushed it. You just did such a good job. I don't even know what to think. It's one of my favorite builds.
Another thing is, just like Kelly and I have talked about, like, I mean, now more than ever, I think people just need to loosen up and laugh and know that everything's still cool. Don't take everything so seriously, you know?